Hey guys, this is not a good video to make. One of our own Two Wheel Obsession member, Biker Paul, was unfortunately in a very bad crash last Saturday. And he was with his wife. They were doing one of their many bike adventures together. If you've watched his channel, you've undoubtedly seen the Paul and Lynn series. They were preparing to go on yet another adventure to Germany and were up for a weekend jaunt through Scotland. They were going at speed on a rural highway, and unfortunately another motorcyclist blew a stop sign and blew completely into an intersection, T-boning them without warning. Obviously there's nothing Paul could have done. It may as well have been a bolt of lightning. And it was a devastating accident. Paul survived with massive leg injuries. He's still in the hospital in Scotland. He has regained consciousness. He's been through multiple surgeries, including 2 hip replacements already. Hopefully he continues to heal and is at least well enough to get transferred back near home. He's in Lancashire, England. So I hope that happens soon and he continues to mend. Unfortunately, his wife Lynn did not make it. So, very sad news. I'm very sure that he would appreciate love and support from everybody. If you've watched him, if you haven't watched him, he could really use some words of encouragement right now. I'll put links below to his channel, and you can contact him through there or leave him messages on his videos or his channel. I know he's online right now in his hospital bed and very much appreciative of all kinds of input. His daughter Sammy is with him up there, I know, and she's helping respond to messages as well. So I'm very sorry, Paul. Hang in there, buddy. I wish I was closer and I wish I could visit, but stay tough, man. Okay, well, now on to an update on the FZ09 and what I've got on it and what I've got going on so far. So here she is, about 95% complete. I've got everything major done to it that I had planned, and everything is done. Videos are all done. They're in queue for the next couple weeks. Take you through, run through here. Really not that much. I mean, you guys have seen videos about what I was planning, and it's just a lot of strategic changes that I think just perfected it, for me at least. Got the little fly screen on the front, which does, its main purpose is to make it look better. Let's face it, it's a small screen, but it does have a slight effect on your chest, and it does its job very well. It looks beautiful. Love it. Levers, absolutely perfect. They are just simply flawless. They feel great. Obviously able to be adjusted exactly where I want them. I wish I didn't need them because the stock ones felt absolutely fine to me. If I had longer fingers and I could have dealt with the stock location of the clutch lever, I would have kept stock. I like the look of them and they feel great. I actually like the feel, the contour of the stock a little bit better than these, but these are still absolutely beautiful and I don't have to think about them. So they are doing their jobs. I've got the, way down in here, you can't see it because it's all hidden in black, 2 high voltage USB power outlets, RAM ball, which just disappears to my eye when you're on the bike. Looks beautiful. And the big change, the real moneymaker and what completely changed the bike for me is the LED turn signals. Getting rid of those huge orange pumpkins. These are about 1/4 the overall size of the stock units. They're not only in a couple inches less, but they are just so much smaller and brighter. So they do their job, but now my eye does not go to the blinkers. It just goes to the overall bike, which I think is incredibly good looking, especially now. You know, that's it. I mean, it goes to the frame and the tank and the lines of the bike instead of big orange ugly blinkers. Everybody, absolutely everybody should get rid of those, in my opinion, no matter what color FZ09 or MT09 you have. It just completely transforms the look of the bike. Comfort seat, definitely one tank comfortable. After that, when I'm filling up, that is more than enough rest for my butt. So it actually works out perfectly. A tank on this is lasting me about 130 miles during break-in, and I'm averaging just over 45 miles to gallon. And it's fine. I have no problem with the way the seat performs. It is breaking in a little bit here on the sides. If you watched my review, that was my only gripe, where these edges were kind of sharp and digging into my inner thighs, but it's already just a few hundred miles later here getting softer, and I don't notice it anymore. So I'm very happy about that. It did break in. Love the little rest on the back. It functions flawlessly. I think it looks super. Does change the look of the bike, gives it more of that, not so much a cowl, but a distinction and an area to look at. I'm not a fan of the banana seat. It felt great, but I just didn't care for the looks. This has much better styling, especially if you're comparing this to something like the BMW R9T or the Super Duke 1290. Very similar seating styles, and now this just fits right in. Love it. Removing the rear sets, huge difference, just completely cleans this up. The only thing I would like better is if I could shorten the tail and actually get rid of the passenger seat. I mean, that would be ideal, but this is very, very nice, clean look. Again, completely free mod, totally worth it if you're not ever carrying a passenger. Removing the rear reflector off here, the big ugly Shrek ears, totally cleaned that up. I love the way it looks, especially now, again, with the turn signals gone off the back. That's all I needed to do to be very happy. Absolutely in love with the Yoshi exhaust. I will love it even more tomorrow when the baffle can be taken out, because that is a just addictive sound. But this is still a gorgeous sound with the baffle in. And the pipes have now colored themselves. They are, you know what, let me throw a little light on there, because the coloring, this has the works finish. So after a few heat cycles, it changed to it's still a satin finish, but it's like a titanium, very, very light gold. Beautiful color. You can see the difference between the stainless steel and the muffler and the gold of the exhaust. It's not the dark gold that a regular stainless steel would change. It's very subtle. But I love the satin finish most of all. No polishing ever needed. You just wash it off normally and it always stays looking good like this. To show you the difference, over here is stainless steel, the way it bronzes. And it almost looks dirty and spotty because it's nice and polished. But you can see it's a deeper gold. So it's not the same color as stainless steel. This is just like titanium looks. So I love that. But performance is great. It does have flat spots that I can tell, but it's not a problem. Now technically you can run this with the baffle in without having to do a tune, without having to use a power commander, or more ideally get your ECU flashed, which is easy and cheap to do for these here. But if you want to take the baffle out, that's the inner shiny ring you see there. It's just a short, 6-inch length of plain pipe. That's all the baffle is, just a little tiny section of pipe, and it just slides out. It's just in there with a set screw right there. That's all it is. And if you want to take that out for the much better sound and a little bit better performance, you do need to flash the ECU. So with the baffle in, what I detect is just off idle, and especially between 5,000 and 6,000 RPM, little hesitations. You can tell it's probably going a little lean, and it just has a momentary hesitation. Now, if you're not used to a bike like this Gen 3 FJR that has absolutely flawless fueling and a pure linear throttle response, you wouldn't notice. But because I can tell. Now, like I said, it's not a problem. No one would complain about it, but there is room for improvement. So while you don't need to flash it with the baffle in, you will notice a difference if you go ahead and do it. But tomorrow I ride down early, probably leaving about 6 a.m. and I'm going about 3 hours south to Fort Myers to V Cycle Nut, and he's one of the premier ECU flashers, especially for the FJR, or not, FZ09. I'm going to do that for a long time. And this will be the first 2017 done, so he's going to make all the maps off of my bike, and then he'll have those available for everybody else that wants to get theirs flashed. So I'm going to be doing lots of videos down there. I'll probably do a little promo video for him. I'll show you guys the whole dyno process and probably an interview with him. Of course, before and after doing this, and I'll talk about a whole process he's got. It's super cheap. 200 bucks. You send your ECU to him if you're not local. It's about a week turnaround total, and you just plug it back in, you're done. You just decide on all the options you want. You can reset the temperature the fan comes on if you want to. You can turn off the air injection system if you don't like the popping. You can turn off the O2 sensor closed open loop mode, which gives you a little bit more consistent performance, especially if you're running a full exhaust. You can remove the rev limiter. You can change the 3 throttle mode mappings if you want to. You know, all kinds of neat options. It's completely up to you. And I'll make my decisions by the time I get down there, of course, on what I want to do. My feeling right now is obviously tune it for baffle out. That takes care of the fueling. And then as far as options go, I love the popping and the burbling and the visceral sounds of deceleration. So I'm leaving the air injection system on. I'll have him disable the rev limiter, even though I've absolutely no intentions of ever taking this above its current limit of, I think, 132. Because let me tell you what, without a proper windscreen, triple-digit speeds on this are downright bad. They are very uncomfortable. There's just no wind flow. But this is not a cruising bike. This is not a freeway high-speed bike for me, and I don't care about that. But I'll have him remove it while I'm there. Why not? I will not have him change the throttle maps, because at least on this 2017, I don't know about prior years, I love them. B mode is a lower power mode. It's a little bit of a lag on the throttle, very much like the touring mode on the FJR. So I'm totally used to that. That would be great if you're in the wet, or if you're with a passenger to prevent turtle kisses. That's pretty much what you want to use B mode for. Standard mode is linear. It is just like the sport mode on the FJR. You know, 1-to-1 throttle response, full power. It is what it is. You control everything. It's great. That's what I love. That's what I always run in. A mode gives you an artificial boost at low to mid throttle. So it's like you're opening it faster than you really are. That's like putting a throttle cam on an old cable controlled throttle to change. So instead of rolling your throttle and it opening the butterflies at the same rate, you roll the throttle, and up till half throttle, it jumps really fast and then smooths out at the top. I don't like that. It's jerky. It just gives you that little bottom end kick. It's the same as doing this with your hand. Well, if I want to do this with my hand, I'll put it in standard mode and do that with my hand. So, I never use A. B would be great in the rain for me, or if I had a passenger on it. But I'm in standard mode normally, and I'm in sport mode normally in that. Same thing on both. Traction control on this, I actually love mode 2, which is basically traction control and wheelie control. It's the exact same as control on the FJR. FJR just has on or off. This has traction mode 1 and 2 and off. Obviously off is the same on both. Traction mode 1 on this turns off wheelie control, but keeps on traction control. So it lets that front end come up, no problem. And frankly, I do not have the seat time in this or skill to be, you know, messing around with wheelies. I really have no intentions of learning how. I don't care. Too old for that shit. So I'm just riding around in standard mode, traction control mode 2, and loving it. It is absolutely awesome. So that's it. Just a quick update here. Of course, I'll have all kinds of videos after I get done with tomorrow, and I'll give you an update. I was gonna be washing and waxing it, but we just had a storm roll in, so maybe I'll do that when I get home. But I'll give you an update about how it changes after getting the baffle out and the ride home, and the tune, of course. It's the before and after about the whole dyno process that I'm really interested in. So that's it, guys. Again, send Paul some messages. I mean, I know he'll love to hear from you guys. And we'll see you later on. Take it easy.